Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's your boy Big Ghostwriter, man, out here from the cold and windy, very cold and very windy Connecticut, man. You know what I'm saying? It's still dark outside, 7:30 a.m., man. We don't have no complaints. You know what I'm saying? We blessed and we thankful. And we got a great news story this morning. I want to say top of the morning, guys. You know what I'm saying? It is Monday morning. It is the 13th. And we are talking about Ukraine being issue number one. If you guys are watching this after we recorded, I ask as you guys come into the live stream that you'll double tap on your screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell, man. Y'all know I've been looking for a part for y'all. You know what I'm saying, out here in Connecticut to bring all y'all the content that we be covering. You know what I'm saying? So I found a little part, man. It's by the water and everything. It's by the lake. But today it is pouring down, raining and windy. That's why it's still a little dark at 7:30. So, guys, I'm going to bump out the way. I'm going to allow a couple of more minutes, people, to get into the stream, a couple of more minutes, and then we'll get started with the content. Thank you for being here this morning. Again, as you guys come in, or if y'all are watching it after it was pre-recorded, please make sure you double tap your screen and like the video. Big Ghostwriter, man. Y'all ready to do this? I know it's kind of windy out here, guys. Just want to make sure y'all can hear me okay. I think you guys can, man. We finna go ahead and get started cooking, man. So good morning to all. Welcome to Legal Wars Live. It's your favorite host, the Ghost Man. You know what I'm saying? I just want to start off by saying, like, regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, on this live stream, I cover things that America is facing. Okay? I call it the business of America. Now, the business of America is being handled at this current moment by President Donald J. Trump. If you guys do not like President Donald J. Trump, I have to apologize to you, man, because I don't have nothing against him, nothing personal, and I don't see why you would. He is the president of the United States, meaning he's your president as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get into the information. President Trump today, he's over in the Middle East right now as we speak. He's in the Middle East as we speak, brokering peace. Man, I just want to smile. I want to take a second, man. Y'all salute, man. Where my likes at? If y'all on a cell phone, double tap that screen, man. That might not mean much to you. But if you are a human and you care about humanity, man, what I'm saying, President Trump has brought peace in the Middle East, and we happy for that, man. We celebrating that. He over there right now, finishing up his 20-point peace plan. But I'm not going to hold y'all, man. We're going to get straight to the content here live in the elements, man. You know what I'm saying? I just hate that the screen is like that, man. It's still kind of dark. We waiting for the sun to come up, but it'll get brighter as we go. Like I said, man, I'm out there. You guys might not could see it, but there is water out there. I would take you guys by the lake, but it's raining. So we'll do that a little bit later if it do cool down. It's windy too, the computer and everything's wet. As you guys come in, y'all make sure y'all double tap that screen, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Republicans, independents, and Democrats alike. If you're an American, man, you got to post, jump down there in the comments and let your voice be heard. Let's get it. Ukraine has become issue number one in the business of America. Guys, think about this. How many times do you think Secretary Rubio or someone in the State Department directly linked to him has called their counterparts in Russia or Ukraine? Hundreds. Same talking points, same conversation. That's the business of America. Solving complex problems internationally that has little or nothing to do with the United States, but it really does. There is no Epstein story, no salacious details, or no can't stop watching news story. This ain't what this is. It's just the same old trying to convince or argue your side of the story repeatedly. Business of America. That's why Legal Wars Live has basically become a live stream that discusses the business of America. Yes, I do news. We're about to do it now. But when I stream, it's like a think tank speaking directly to the White House. Y'all let me get a line directly to Big President T, speaking directly to the White House, advising and arguing why America should turn left or America should turn right. It's nothing personal. As I have told you guys 1,000 times, I'm an independent. My political views are like yours, a product of my experiences and based on my perspective of the world. But nevertheless, I don't form affiliations with political parties, and I understand, like you do, but I'm not on nobody's side, no politician's side. Your voice and your words should be the words of the majority of the people, and that's how the politicians should be. For President Trump, his words should be the majority of the words of America, even people who didn't vote for him. That's what a representative democracy is. A lot of people do not understand this, okay? That's his job, to speak for the majority, even the ones who didn't vote for him. That being said, speaking of the issue of Russia and Ukraine, it's not about where the American people stand on the issue. Okay? Most Americans don't even understand the politics of this conflict. And even if they did, they do not care. However, if you're a student of politics, history is important. And you know history repeats itself. And having that knowledge and having a knowledge of the world, then you are aware that prior to the world wars, when America was coming into its own, we attempted to be an isolationist nation. This isn't the first time in history America has been tired of war. After World War I, the cost of war, America didn't want to face Hitler and stop him, although they were aware that he needed to be stopped. Sounds familiar? This sentiment is understandable, but we see the results. Adolf Hitler. It's unfortunate to say, but I personally think that if we allow any other leader in the world who is not in NATO to take over any section of the earth, then we will again watch history repeat itself. Now, don't misunderstand me. People get your words out of context all the time. I'm not saying that the Russian leader or the Chinese prime minister are Adolf Hitler. And if America, though, was to allow Putin, a man who kills Russian journalists, to take over Asia, I think the lack of respect for human rights and the dignity of the law will spread throughout the world. That's my argument. As you guys come into the live stream, I ask that y'all double tap the screen, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell, guys. I really believe this with my whole heart, guys. I think, in my opinion, is we have seen horrible atrocities being committed by humans against other humans, and democracy and the rule of law has brought a certain order to the world. Sure, we still have wars and the likes, but America has to remain the leader of the free world. NATO and America must maintain the order in the world. Don't want to be the world police, but I don't trust the leadership of any other leader outside of a European leader. What about you guys, man? I know it's early. If you guys in Connecticut, it's cold, it's raining, but y'all jump down in the comments, man. Y'all let me know. Can y'all think that we can trust the leadership of any other leader besides an American leader to lead the world? Like my argument is, like Putin's argument is, that America attacks other nations. That's what Vladimir's saying. Vladimir, after the Iraq war, he said, hey, I sat here and watched President Bush say they had weapons of mass destruction, and they didn't. So we went in there. So what Vladimir's argument is that, hey, America does it, why can't I? Who ordained America to be the leader of the free world? That's his argument. Vladimir's argument is, hey, they got Russians in Ukraine that says that Zelensky is an illegitimate president. That's his argument. But regardless of what his argument is, what you have to understand that America attacks other nations like the Iraq war and the weapons of mass destructions. But what Vladimir is talking about is a diversion. And Vladimir understands that a lot of Americans on the fringes have adapted that worldview too. We know that Russia always interferes in America and trying to persuade the views of the American people, okay? A lot of Americans on the fringes, they believe that America is bullied. However, guys, the United States has never redrawn any international borders. It's the law. That's the international law, is that you cannot go take somebody's land and redraw that border. Take that somebody's land and put that land into you. That's the law. You cannot do that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between America and Russia. And Putin knows this. Most Americans, most people in the world, they don't know international law. The United States never took a portion of Iraq or Afghanistan and kept it for themselves or any of their other allies. That's international law. With the annexation of Crimea, regardless of Vladimir's argument about Zelensky not being legitimately elected, okay? Over the past 4 years, the people of Ukraine have spoken loud and clear. They stand opposed to Russian aggression, and they do not want to return to the days of the old USSR. So now Vladimir understands this. See, 4 years ago, he was arguing that the citizens in Crimea and other parts of Ukraine were complaining about Zelensky, and a lot of Russians in Ukraine wanted to return to Russian rule. That's what Vladimir was saying 4 years ago. So Vladimir, using that argument, set out 4 years ago to get rid of Zelensky and to retake Ukraine. He expected it to be done in 48 hours, and he came close. Good morning, Latoya. Good morning, Raquello. Will you guys please double tap the screen, as y'all come in, like the video. We trying to get the algorithm up, man. Subscribe to the channel. Y'all hit that notification bell if y'all enjoying the content, man. 4 years ago, Putin never expected this. I'm saying the Russian special forces went into Kyiv and they were this close. They were this close. This close. They almost had Zelensky, but it didn't happen. And 4 years later, Vladimir has lost half of his military equipment and 1 million troops, and he is locked in a forever war that he cannot win unless Europe and or the United States backs out of the way, and that is not about to happen. So guys, before we get into the news story, we have to understand that the only reason that Putin is still fighting this war is to save him from the embarrassment of losing this war. Vladimir, your argument is that there were Ukrainians. Y'all got to understand that Ukraine was a part of Russia, okay? So what Vladimir is saying is there's still Russians in Ukraine, which it is to this day. So he's saying the Russians in Ukraine and the Ukrainians were complaining about Zelensky's rule. I don't have to get into the specifics. So that is his reason to going into Ukraine. Okay? Imagine if Florida was a part of the United States at one time, which it is. And imagine if something happened and Florida isn't a part of the United States no more. So that's what's happening with Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine is Florida. It used to be a part of Russia. So what Vladimir is saying that, hey, there's some of our people there, they complaining, so he went in with the military. He thought it was going to be over in 48 hours, and it's not. It's been 4 years. He lost half of his equipment. Over 1 million lives. That's why this is business number one. It's so important to those. Over 1 million lives lost in that war. Vladimir don't care. He's trying to save embarrassment. Good morning, Miss Arnita. As you guys come in, y'all please double tap that screen for Ghost, man. Like the video, make sure you guys subscribe, and make sure you guys hit that notification bell. Most importantly, jump down in the comments, man. I know this Ukraine war, and I know Ghost be talking about these wars, but this is the business of America. This is America's business. And that's what Ghost is focused on, America's business. Big President Trump, man, you ended one war, baby. We did it, baby. You hear me? They over there, I'm talking about, bro, you turn on your TV, and President Trump right now is over in the Middle East, and they over there celebrating. I'm talking about Muslims celebrating. I'm talking about Jews celebrating. President Trump, Bibi Netanyahu rolled out the red carpet for him. Rolled out the red carpet, man, standing up, waiting for President Trump's arrival. This is what's going on in the Middle East. The Abraham Accords, President Trump, you didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize this year, but I promise you, you're going to get it in 2026. Congratulations. Next on the agenda, guys, I'm sorry. We're going to do some current news stories, but we stand in the business of America, and this is a problem that we need to solve. Ukraine and Russia, guys. Before we get into the news story, guys, we have to understand that the only reason Putin's still fighting is for pride. That's it. He don't want to lose. He don't want to be embarrassed. That's why he's sacrificing the young men in his nation, losing North Korean troops and even hiring Cuban mercenaries. He desperate. He is running out of troops to sacrifice. The Europeans, who are still buying oil from Russia, we're going to address that when President Trump come back. You know what I'm saying? The Europeans who still buy oil from Russia, y'all need to be cut off. And Ukraine needs to keep targeting Russian oil fields. President Trump has to hit Putin with the hardest sanctions possible when he gets back. And he needs to start building a coalition just as he did in the Middle East with the Abraham Accords. Build a coalition of nations. Strengthen ties with India. Business of America. President Trump, I know you got a lot going on, dog, but when you come back, that's like number one. One of the first things we need to do, we need to strengthen ties with India. On some strategic nations, President Trump should take a loss on the tariffs. India is a very important ally right now. We need them. Trust Big Ghost when I tell you this. It is the most populous country in the world. With 1.4 billion plus people, we do not need them joining Russia and China. We need to achieve peace through strength, which in this case, it could mean different things, but in this case, it means strong allies in the region. It will help the United States keep the peace and deter these other nations, powerful countries like Russia and China, who want to take the United States' position as world leaders. We need to be smart and strategic, stop old Vladimir, and bring peace to Ukraine. That's my take, guys. What you guys think? As you guys come into the stream, I ask that y'all like the video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. We're going to jump straight into the content. We in the news story, guys. The source is the Times of India. It was published on October the 10th. Let's get to it. So Russia launched a massive attack on Ukraine on Friday, killing a 7-year-old child. The head of the Southeast Region Military Administration said. You said, Ghost, man, children die all the time in war. That's a casualty of war. Yes, it is. But old Vladimir, what he thinking is, he just thinking the world not paying attention. That's what you thinking, huh, Vladimir? The world's not paying attention. Tragic news. A 7-year-old boy who was wounded in a nighttime Russian attack has died in the hospital, Ivan Ferdov said in a Telegram platform. The capital of the country is under an enemy ballistic missile attack and a massive attack by the enemy strike drones, the Ukrainian Air Force said, urging Kyiv residents to remain in shelters. Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said that Russian forces had targeted critical infrastructure, wounding at least 9 people, 5 of them taken to the hospital. The left bank of the capital is under attack and without electricity. There are also problems with water supply, he said on the Telegram platform. The Ukrainian energy minister said Russian forces were inflicting a massive strike on the grid. Energy workers are taking all necessary measures to minimize the negative consequences, Guru said on Facebook. As soon as security conditions allow, energy workers will begin clarifying the consequences of the attack and restoration work, she added. Russia also struck the southern region of Zaporizhzhia with at least 7 drone strikes, wounding at least 3 people, according to Ivan Fedorov, the head of the regional military administration. Russia has escalated aerial attacks on Ukrainian energy facility and rail systems over several weeks. So, guys, we see that there's no end in sight to this war. Guys, I'm going to stop just real quick. I'm going to show y'all, man, out here in Connecticut, man, it's gorgeous out there, bro. It's real gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? Like out there, man, it's raining and everything. Down we've been out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Rain, shine, sleet, or snow, man. We're gonna do the content. Let's keep going with the news. Russia has also struck Zaporizhzhia with 7 drone attacks. You say that's war goes. Ukrainian President Vladimir, you know their names are kind of similar. Him and the other Vladimir, his name is Vladimir, I guess, and it's Vladimir for old Putin, said on Thursday that Moscow was seeking to create chaos by hitting energy facilities and railways. Ukraine has stepped up its own drone and missile strikes on Russian territory in response, a tactic that Zelensky said was showing results and pushing up fuel prices in Russia. Zelensky, you got the right idea, brother. That's what you got to do. Guys, if we want to end this war, listen, let me ask you a question. Say 2 men are fighting each other, right? Say 2 men are beefing each other, okay? Say, in order for them to fight, though, they have to have money. I mean, you get North Korean troops, you don't think he gave no money to Kim Jong-un? You don't think he paying them troops? Yeah, he gave them some money. He hiring Cuban mercenaries. All of this takes money to be able to do this. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is you got 2 men fighting. What's the first thing you want to do? You want to cut off his money. You want to cut off his supply. That's what I'm saying. The way Putin is fighting this war is with oil. You gotta cut his funding. You see what I'm saying? There's 2 things you could do in this situation. Look, people thought President Trump was pandering to him. I don't call that pandering. You know, it's just he understands, or the people who are advising him understand the world. They understand Vladimir. They understand the situation. So they know in order to reach him, you got to try to use diplomacy. Russia got nuclear weapons, man. We're not trying to get in a nuclear war with Russia, but we can't let Putin rule the world. So we're going to try to use diplomacy to reach him. Y'all follow that? You try diplomacy. Guys, y'all know Republicans, Independents, and Democrats, even MAGA people, how many times has President Trump tried diplomacy with Russia? I'm saying take the first 4 years before Russia ever attacked Ukraine. He has always been nice to Putin. He's always been friendly to Putin, and I think that's the problem, man. You know what I'm saying? So issue number 1 is Russian oil. I guarantee you the sanctions, when you put sanctions on Russia, they should be directed towards the oil because that's how he's able to fund that war. You know what I'm saying? You're going to hit him from 5 ways. But one of the main things you want to make sure you do is try to either stop the money he's getting or cut off or slice it as much as possible. As you guys come into the stream, I ask that y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Also, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats alike, jump down in the comment section, man. Let your voices be heard, man. One last thing, guys. We do have to pay the bills. I don't have any sponsors. I'm not taking money from any party. I only get money from you guys. So I ask you guys, if you guys want to donate to the channel right now, super chat, super stickers, and super thanks start at 99 cents. I would surely appreciate it. Just hit that rectangle down below with the $sign in it. Donations are much appreciated. Let's keep going with the news. So this source is from the Atlantic. It was published a little bit time ago, September the 10th. Vladimir Putin, we've been told since the start of the war in Ukraine, has goals that extend well beyond his territory. Listen to that. Listen to that. Somebody yesterday, they came in the stream and they were talking about learning politics, and they're saying like you can learn politics and go read a book at the library. Politics ain't that easy. You got to understand history first. Once you understand history, you got to understand how the groups of people together, you can study domestic politics, you can study international politics. Politics about like the law. It's kind of complicated, man. You see what I'm saying? So you got to understand, you can't just go to a book, to the library and read a book and say, hey, Putin, he's trying to attack Russia. So what's the move? What's your political advice for what you do? You don't learn politics like that. You got to understand what's going on. You got to understand history. And history is the reason why NATO was formed. is because after World War I, America didn't want to fight no more wars. So you had another man, but he was in Europe, and he trying to take over the whole world. America could have stopped him, but you know what America did? We were tired of war, just like today. We tired of fighting wars, man. So we gonna lay back in the cut. We tired of fighting, boss. We gonna lay back in the cut. What's up, Starlo? Got one of my members in the stream, guys. If y'all want to become a member of the channel, it's $2.99, man. You don't have to pay for it next month if you don't enjoy the content, man. And that's the best way to donate. Hit that button with that $sign in it, that rectangle, man. Your donations are much appreciated. Starlo, as y'all come into the stream, make sure if y'all have not liked the video, you on a cell phone, double tap your screen for me, like the video, make sure y'all subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem, man. I just, in my mind, I know that if you do not stop Putin right now, you're going to be fighting a war. One way or other. You're going to have to fight him on the other side, or you're going to have to fight China. Because I promise you, China is ready. They squaring up and they prepared to go at Taiwan. They prepared. If you get out the way and you let Putin take Ukraine, I'm telling you, every line in Asia gonna be redrawn. Taiwan is gonna be part of the Chinese homeland. Putin ain't gonna stop at Ukraine. He gonna keep going. He gonna get more land. Then what would stop another nation over in Asia or a rogue leader from doing the same? What Putin seeks to do, he seeks to upend the post-Cold War international order to reconstruct the Soviet sphere of influence and to allow Russia to reassume its rightful position as a world power equal to the United States. That's Putin's goals. Bilateral summits, such as the recent one, between Donald Trump and Putin in Anchorage, offer a symbolic recognition of that aspiration. As former Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, I know y'all heard of him, highlighted not so subtly by showing up in Alaska wearing a CCCPUSR sweatshirt. Bro, a lot of Americans do not realize it, but they over there on that other side of the world, them in China, they are tired of American leadership. And if you let them have their way or give them their leadership, I promise you the world will look completely different, and not in a good way. Some sweatshirts won't make Russia a superpower. Only a credible show of strength can do that. The war in Ukraine was meant to supply this. So Putin went over there to Russia. He went over there in Ukraine, and he think he was going to show the world that Russia was a superpower, but it has instead become a slow motion demonstration of Russia's decline. Less a catalyst of national revival than a case study in national self-harm. All that's trying to say is what I said earlier, man. That's why Putin won't stop the war, because he embarrassed. He embarrassed. How you gonna challenge America and you run into Ukraine and you're supposed to win this war within a week? Forget 48 hours, forget 3 days, forget 4 days, within a week. And you then lost half your equipment, over 1 million troops. You having to borrow troops from other people. That's how bad it is for you, but you won't stop fighting. It's embarrassing. The man is embarrassed. Russia is embarrassed. You have to know his motivations. That's how you gonna get up to the table. What's wrong with the man? The man trying to save embarrassment. He's been embarrassed. You feeling that? We feeling that. We know his motivations. Putin's embarrassed. See, if I know he embarrassed, the way I deal with him, I will deal with him according to what I know. Moscow has devoted considerable resources, manpower, and political will to its invasion of the country next door. In purely military terms, it has managed not to lose and may even be eking its way toward some sort of additional victory in Donbass. But even if it consolidates its territorial gains and keeps Ukraine out of NATO, Russia will have won only a hypothetical victory, mortgaging its future for the sake of a few bombed out square kilometers. In other words, Russia is effectively losing the war in Ukraine, not to Ukraine, but to everyone else. If you guys have not liked the video, make sure y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, guys. If President Trump ends the Russo-Ukrainian war with a durable peace, then he will certainly deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. This was written by The Hill in August 26th. And President Trump, he ended the war in Israel. So I'm saying if he ends this war in Ukraine, he deserves that peace prize. But the key word is durable. For an accord to last longer, it takes the ink to dry. It has to be acceptable to and accepted by both sides. Mutual acceptability implies some degree of equal distributed gains and losses. Anything else will be perceived by one of the sides as unfair and unjust, likely dooming the accord. The equal distribution of gains or losses favors the aggressor. In principle, aggression should not be rewarded with any gains, okay? It should be punished with losses, whether in the form of reparations or loss of acquired territory. At this point, the reality of power clashes with principle, and it may prove impossible to punish the aggressor to the deserved degree. Compromise might be unavoidable, even if unacceptable to the victim. Basically what they saying, man, we need to get a peace deal. You know what I'm saying? We need to get a peace deal. Look, I'll get my peace at the end, man, but I just think, man, I think it would be a good thing, in my opinion, for President Trump to get Zelensky and Vladimir at a table. Look, I understand. Look, America could have aspirations of Ukraine just completely winning the war. Listen to me. I'm gonna give y'all a second to catch up with me because I'm telling y'all something very important right now. Man, it looked like a hurricane out there in Connecticut, baby. A hurricane. Listen to me, guys. This is so important. Look, America could have aspirations of Ukraine winning the war, and I understand that. I think it's very possible if you play your cards right. And President Trump will have more time to focus on this, Secretary Rubio, internationally, since they got that issue in the Middle East solved. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying Zelensky hates Putin, and Putin hates Zelensky. So my very first thing is to get them two together in one room. President Trump, when he went to him the last time and he met with Putin, he talked to Zelensky. He told Zelensky, he told Putin, he said, y'all come together, y'all sit down at a table, and y'all let me know when y'all do that. By the time he get back, Zelensky hate Putin the same amount, if not more, and Putin hates Zelensky. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying, even if he thinks that Ukraine, or even if the plan or the goal is for Ukraine a total victory, there's nothing wrong with that. Even if that's the goal, what I'm saying is I think you might be able to reach your goals quicker, or you might get Putin to tap quicker if you get him to sit down with Zelensky. I think that will be really important. I think that's really important to end in this conflict. That's my personal opinion. Regardless of what your intelligence says, regardless of what you do moving forward, President Trump, what I would do if I was you, my next move, when I came back, regardless of what the Europeans doing, regardless of what the Polish doing, regardless of what the Turks want to do, my very next move, President T, when I come back, would be to attempt to get Zelensky and Putin together at a table. I'm saying, in my opinion, that's step one. You got two men who hate each other. And even though I want to crush Russia, Russia's still going to have to agree to some kind of deal. You could say, hey, Ghost, I could force them to the table and make them agree to the deal that we want. And yeah, you can do that. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. And I'm not saying President Trump in America, that isn't a plan. But what I'm saying is, if you send them down together, you get them to seeing each other. Two people that hate each other, make them see each other. Make them be around each other. Make them talk to each other. I'm saying getting them together in a room. And they both leave safely going back to their own nation. I think that helps Ukraine. I think that helps Russia. I think that helps the entire situation. So if I was President Trump, if I had plans and goals, part of those plans and goals would be to get Zelensky together in a room with Putin. In the first instance, both sides would be unhappy, but equally so. That might deter them from seeking revenge or otherwise aggravate their relationships. Given Russia's current rejection of any compromise that falls short of its maximalist demand for Ukraine's destruction, it can agree to such a deal only if forced by a joint cohesive effort by Ukraine, the United States, and Europe. That's what they're working on right now. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying, while you work on that, while you're working on forcing Putin to the table, I'm saying, in my opinion, this just big Ghost, my first objective would be to get them two in the room, regardless of what else you're going to do after that. Regardless of what the plans are, the intelligence are, Ghost looking at this situation and trying to bring peace. I know, to me, I don't, listen, Netanyahu got a problem with Hamas, but it's not like one, it might be one leader, one figure in Hamas. No, it's not, because he killed them all. He killed them all. He killed all their leaders. So it's not like one man that Netanyahu got a problem with. He got a problem really with an ideology that's trying to destroy Israel. You feeling that? What I'm saying is that Putin doesn't have hatred for Ukraine like Netanyahu has for Hamas. You feel that? So Putin actually probably likes Ukraine or wants Ukraine part of Russia. He probably don't hate the Ukrainian people. He might not like them too much now. But what I'm saying is, his number one issue, or Putin's number one problem, in my opinion, is Zelensky. So I would get him and Zelensky at a table. Let them get used to seeing them. Let them get used to, whatever. I just think it will help the situation. I think if you got them at a table, you wouldn't get a peace deal. But I'm saying, in 4 years they've been fighting the war, have they ever sat down and crossed from each other? Have they ever talked to each other? Have they ever said anything to each other at all? Have they seen each other yet face to face? That's the first step to peace. You're not going to get a deal when they first sit down, of course. Just get them in the room together. I think that's the first step. That's Big Ghost Tape, man. I asked if y'all hadn't liked the video. Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Also, guys, everyone is welcome in the stream. I just ask that you guys be respectful to others. So I welcome you guys, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats. Jump down in the comments and let your voice be heard. One last thing, we do have to pay the bills. I don't have any sponsors, not taking no money from no party. I just ask if you guys want to donate. Super chat, super stickers, super thanks. They start at 99 cents. If you want to start a conversation, have your comment read, hit the button with the $ in it, and your donations are truly appreciated. Guys, Big President T is over in the Middle East right now trying to implement the next stages of his 20-point peace plan. Hostages being released. between Israel and Hamas. When President Trump gets back, he still has to deal with the government shutdown. He's still combating crime, He's combating drugs. He still has a bold immigration agenda. I mean, the business of America is like the business of the world. But nevertheless, as humans, and more so as Americans, we have to focus on the situation and conditions of all of humanity. And thank President Trump for ending the suffering in the Middle East. The Nobel Peace Prize in 2026 is his. However, as busy as you are, President Trump, as many problems as you have to attend to, when you get back, Ukraine is issue number one. As I said before, most Americans don't care about Russia and Ukraine because it does not involve us. However, I have argued, if we do not stop Putin now, we will have to later. But more importantly, for President Trump politically, he made a campaign promise to the American people that he would end the war in Ukraine on day one. We see it much more complex than that. However, I do not think the American people would judge him on how long it took, but nevertheless, I do believe they will hold him to the promise of ending the war and ending it without Zelensky leaving power, ending the war, with Putin not taking Ukraine. But if Putin does and has taken Ukraine and the world order has been changed, then that will jeopardize the peace and stability in the entire world, because it will make America look weak, as Putin has publicly defied President Trump. And if he takes Kyiv, he might not stop, he might just keep on going. But if he don't keep on going today, I promise you he will in the near future. That's what dictators do. They are thirsty for power. Not only that, if Putin takes Ukraine, someone in the chat, please tell me why China wouldn't then attack Taiwan immediately, probably. I'm saying the only way you maintain peace and stability in the world is by bringing that last and final conflict to an end. With the war on Israel coming to an end, I believe if President Trump comes home and for the first time issue sanctions, keep attacking his ability to fund the war with his oil money, and United Asian countries, he could do like he did in the Middle East with the Abraham Accords, with Asian countries. I'm saying that's leadership. Whether you agree with the style or not, it's about results. Forget the style. We have used the same style for 50 years and it has worked to a greater degree, but it hasn't worked to a lesser degree. But regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, it can be improved. And whether President Trump has improved it or not is yet to be seen. However, one thing for certain and two things for sure, we now have peace in the Middle East. Tell Ukraine we are working hard to bring you guys an everlasting peace. If you guys like the video, I ask that y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Man, we out here in the rain, man, in Connecticut, in the hurricane. I came and brought y'all the content, man. Been live for about 50 minutes, man. It's a story we go over a lot. I ain't gonna lie. We go over this story with Russia and Ukraine, man. We talk about this a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? YouTube probably like, man, Ghost. You know what I'm saying? But we talked about that story with Israel and Hamas a lot too. We talked about that story with Israel and Palestine a lot. But look what just happened. You know what I'm saying? That's how I started the stream. Good morning, Angelo, my brother. How you doing? That's how I started the stream, man. It's a peace ain't easy. It's a complex situation. Like Secretary Rubio said, this wasn't even really our war. You see what I'm saying? We trying to end some wars. On top of that, not only is it not America's war, but what Secretary Rubio is saying as well, he's saying not only is it not America's war, he's saying that the other administration started the war. And if it was their administration, they wouldn't have started the war. They wouldn't even be in the war. But through all of that, for you to be able to go to the Middle East and bring a peace to the Middle East right now. Angelo, we've been talking about that, man, haven't we, Angelo? You know what I'm saying? This is the business of America, man. It's not pretty. It's not. It's repetitive. Over and over and over again, a complex situation. We looking for a solution. I want to thank you, President T. I want to thank you for making that call. That's all I asked him to do, Angelo. That's all we asked him to do is just to make that call to BB. President T, call BB. Call him and tell him it's time to end it. And you did that, President T. And look what's going on. Look what's happening. All over the world, the whole world celebrate. Whole world. Y'all turn on the TV or turn on YouTube and put Middle East President Trump. And I haven't looked at the news, but I don't have to. I could guarantee y'all that the whole world right now is celebrating. Yeah, baby. We got one more. Somebody tell Vladimir we got to end this war, man. Vladimir, you might not see it like we see it right now. We're going to try to help you see it how we see it, man. We got to get this war to an end, Vladimir. You know what I'm saying? A man who got as much money, Angelo, as Vladimir Putin has, he might not be that concerned about money. His thing is power. You know what I'm saying? But we got to end this war. So Angelo says something the Biden administration couldn't do in 3 years. It took President Trump 8 months. Man, we happy for that. You know what I'm saying? We completely happy for that, bro. Praise God. You know what I'm saying, Angelo? That's all I was talking about was ending that war. Man, I seen them women and children suffering and starving, man. Like, we had to get that one ended quick. And President Trump was able to pull it off, man. He made the call. He told BB, man, it's time, man. You know what I'm saying? And I promise y'all right now, guys, the whole entire world is celebrating because of it. Angelo says, we are all united and we made this moment possible. Yes, indeed. And praise God. Continually. What I'm saying is, if you was over there in the Middle East and you had to live in the middle of that, bombs falling, bullets, I'm talking about bodies laid out in the middle of the street, bodies just lying in the streets. The Palestinians finally getting to come home, man. You know what I'm saying? They out there rejoicing. They celebrate. Bibi Netanyahu laid out the red carpet for President Trump like a king. The Muslims, they just as happy. He finna go meet with the leaders in the Muslim world. The whole Muslim world, all of Asia is celebrating. Praise God, Angelo. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need to do, man. That's what we got to do, man. We need peace in the world. So we got that Israel thing. They finishing the end of Israel and Hamas. And next we're going to have to focus on Putin. This would be a hard one. But President Trump made a campaign promise. He said he was going to end that war. So for him, Angelo, politically, he has to do that. And when he made that promise, Angelo, the majority of the American people, I could almost 10,000% guarantee you, when he made that promise, they weren't thinking that he was going to end the war and Putin was going to still be in power. 10,000% I could guarantee you. They thought he was going to end that war with Putin being gone. That's what they thought. 20,000%. So what I'm saying, Angelo, we got the one in Israel going. We trying to get the one in Ukraine. That's the next one. You know what I'm saying? We got to get that one ended. Angelo says everyone that voted for Trump made this moment possible. So salute to my Trump supporter. I never voted for Trump, Angelo. I didn't vote for President Trump. You know what I'm saying? But President Trump ain't listening to just people who voted for him. I promise you that. He listening to other people too. People who who know what's going on in the world. Some people just know. Some people got the wisdom. Some people know the moves. And I knew it was time to make that call. If he didn't make that call right then, you would have destroyed Israel's case for a decade at least. At least. Because I'm saying right now, the war is over. People celebrate. Nobody really mad at Israel. It ain't no more guns being fired. But I'm saying you cut that off before it got to a point of no return. It was going to get to a point to where they were going to like completely isolate BB. So it was the timing too. We know the war needed to be in. It was just right then. It was the time for President Trump to make that call. You said you welcome new supporters. Angelo, it's a little bit different than that with me, bro. You got to understand who I am, Angelo. I'm not a MAGA supporter. I'm not a follower. That's not who I am or what I do, Angelo. I'm not a follower. I'm an advisor. I'm an arguer. You see what I'm saying? It's completely different. Angelo, I'm not a fan. You know what I'm saying? I'm a think tank, man. I know politics and I'm a think tank. You said enough common sense to know right for wrong. I don't think people, Angelo, it's not about people knowing right for wrong. They know wrong stuff they doing wrong and they still do what they want to do. People know they doing wrong. People know they breaking the law. People know discrimination on the workplace is against the law. Discrimination in any public is against the law. It's against the law. They don't care if it's against the law, Angelo. They just do what they want to do. So I got common sense to know right from wrong, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? That don't stop a lot of people from doing wrong. They still do wrong. Oh, I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying. Let me see, Angelo. Yeah, I guess so. I guess you could say that. I just have it's a savvy, a political savvy. I do have a political savvy. I really do. And the people around me, they know it. They believe it. Very powerful people on the right and the left. They're aware of that. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, like, kudos to President Trump, man. Salute President Trump, man. He made that call. It don't matter. Like, to me, ain't none of the rest matter. He won. He winning. America winning. You know what I'm saying? So he got to do that in Ukraine. And he do it in Ukraine. He won again. America's still winning again. You know what I'm saying, Angelo? I'm not a Democrat. So it don't hurt my feelings. Angelo, even though I supported VP Harris in the very beginning, I'm still not a Democrat. Angelo, yes or no? Am I a Democrat? Y'all know I'm not a Democrat. So that's what I'm saying. I could freely move and freely speak. That's how you should be. But I'm saying, Angelo, you might be a Republican now. You might not. You might just be a Trump supporter. You might not. You might be MAGA. You might not. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying you got to understand, Angelo, look, Tucker Carlson, go look up Tucker Carlson and what he said yesterday or the day before about President Trump. It's a bunch of MAGA people. Joe Rogan, it's a bunch of MAGA people who just spoke out. Not against President Trump, but just speaking their mind on certain issues. So I wouldn't say that I was MAGA to the extent that I was joined or part of that. Like I ain't a part. I'm America. I want to see America win. Angelo says you don't have to be MAGA like that. You said MAGA bad? No, MAGA not bad. Who said MAGA was bad? That's President Trump's movement. No, I never said MAGA was bad. Never did. That's okay. Look, if this what I'm saying, there's people that's Republicans that's not MAGA. You agree with that? So what I'm saying is you got people who that's MAGA that weren't really Republicans. They just President Trump supporters. So now they voting Republicans supporting President Trump. What I'm saying, who is the real like MAGA? But I'm saying, regardless of that, I never been that. I'm not saying that they bad. I'm not saying nothing against MAGA. I'm just saying I've never been that. Like I never been like a political like fan of a party. I just like politicians for personal reasons or for whatever reason. But what I'm saying is though, in my mind and my goal, like I give advice, I advise and I argue. That's what I do. If I got legal cases, I'm advising and I'm arguing. If I'm talking politics, I'm advising and I'm arguing. So just like a legal case, Angelo, it doesn't matter who the client is, I'm just advising and I'm arguing. And just like politics, it doesn't matter who the client is, I'm advising and I'm arguing. President Trump is the client. That's free advice and free arguments. And it's just what I looked for the live stream, and during that live stream, I think it was like last Monday or Tuesday or something. I said about time to make the call, and just so happened that during the time that they picked up the phone and made the call, bro, and the whole world celebrating. That's advice and arguing. Some people might have told President Trump it wasn't time to make that call, so they advising and they argue. And I'm advising and I'm arguing. And it's just about who got the best advice. And I'm going to argue, Angelo, I'm going to keep arguing my point, and I'm so good at it. And I know I'm right. And all the times I've said things that need to be done, and they made that move, like on the tariffs, on anything. The only thing I disagreed with him on a major move was Iran. That's it. But the reason why I didn't hate on him or couldn't really say nothing bad about him is because the results were good. Look at the results after what happened in Iran. So how can you hate on him about that? But I'm saying, like, mostly though, it's just advising, man. I'm just advising. You know what I'm saying? Angelo, if a Democrat came tomorrow and offered me a position as a political advisor, then I'd be loyal to them. If Donald Trump called me and said, hey, man, I think I'm finna run for president in a couple of years, Ghost, you want to come? And I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. Y'all got to understand that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Angelo is MAGA, and he's professing to be MAGA, right, Angelo? Angelo, see, he says he's a Trump supporter. So Angelo is MAGA. He professing to be MAGA. So if you see Angelo tomorrow talking about him liking a different party or liking a Democrat, you might be like, what? But that's not Ghost. I just want to tell y'all that I never have been MAGA or anything like that. I don't have nothing against President Trump. I don't have nothing against MAGA whatsoever. But what I'm saying is I'm a political I advise people politically. I argue political points, just like the law, just like any attorney who's involved in politics. Everybody in Congress are attorneys, 90% or more. So that's all I'm saying. A political advisor is someone who says, President Trump, it's time to end this war. He advising the president on politics, or advising whoever, a congressperson, a senator, the vice president, the joint chiefs of staff. They all got advisors in that position. They have people around them that tell them when it's time to do certain things. So I'll be a person that says, hey, President Trump, it's time to end that war. Like tomorrow. Get it done. It's over with. And he got to see the good in the advice. He's the president. He chooses to do what he wants to do. But I'm sure they know that Big Ghost know what he talking about. They know that. Hey, Angelo, I know they know that, my bad. They know that, my bad. They know Big Ghost know what he talking about, though. They know that. You know what I'm saying? Marco Rubio, Secretary Rubio, he know that. Big P head self, he know that. Ghost know what he talking about, man. I got love for mad people, man. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you look at it from a political standpoint with President Trump, man, like Angelo, y'all just look at me as a worker. I think you looking at it wrong, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Pete Hegseth and others, like they supported President Trump and they were MAGA. And President Trump went down and he picked them to be a part of his cabinet or be a part of his team. I'm not saying that the same thing will happen, but I'm not presenting myself like that. I'm presenting myself as just an independent strategist. Just like an independent litigator, independent paralegal, I'm an independent strategist. You know what I'm saying? It's going to come to a point where, bro, listen, Angelo, this is what I'm saying. If I could say things to where I say Letitia James finna get indicted and she get indicted within hours. If I could say things to where you end the war and the war's ended within days, bro, you go back and look at my YouTube channel, 10,000. Like there's some situations where I kind of know something's finna happen, but most of them I'm just doing this off my dome. I'm saying if they could see that I'm doing that, they know the ability that I have. That's what I was seeing. No kind of. I'm saying he got generals talking to him, giving him advice. He knows stuff going on in Israel on the ground. I don't know that stuff. He got inside information. I don't know none of that. Imagine if I had the information. Imagine if I'm in the same briefing room that he in. I don't even need to study and go look nothing up. I do it, Angelo, off the dome. It's you call it common sense, Angelo. It's something there. Listen, there's 1,000 things you could do for you not to only know what to do, but to even have it come in your mind to think about it. That's weird. That's stuff coming from God. That's how I look at it, Angelo. Because you could know it could be a right thing to do, and you don't even think about it. Hey, this is the right move in this situation. You're not even thinking about it. It don't even pop to in your head. But some people, God give them all the right answers. They get all the right answers. When it comes to politics, I get every answer right. And the law, too. I be right all the time. Any case I lost, I was right. I lost one case, I was dead right in that case. Go ask the people who beat me. All the advice I give to President Trump, in my opinion, all that stuff be right. Ain't nothing I say be wrong. I don't like losing. I don't like losing. I'm a fighter, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm a think tank. He said Trump got more done and not. Yeah, President Trump did get a lot done, Angelo. I ain't hating on that at all, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm going to say this, though. I'm going to say this. Look, so look, that war that I don't know about the war in Israel. I mean, Israel was attacked. President Biden probably wouldn't be, with BB, but he still would support. What I'm saying, though, the war with Russia and Ukraine, some of these conflicts, the military, you know what I'm saying, they're giving advice, too, for certain reasons. I'm just aware of certain things. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. If I was there to talk, when Russia first attacked Ukraine, and what that was when Biden first came into office, what the military is telling Biden probably at that time is we finna sit here and fight this war out with Russia. We gonna help Ukraine fight them. They might not want a peace at that time. They might want to take half of Russia's equipment. I see why they would do that. Nobody ever told me that, Angelo. Nobody in the military ever told me that. I don't know if you could say that's common sense to know something like that. But if you go ask anybody on that side in the military who got access to top secret information, they don't have to tell me that to know that. I know the military probably wanted Russia to lose some stuff. And I'll tell you why, Angelo, because I know if I was in that situation with Russia and I watched them for 10 to 15 years continually attack countries, and I know Putin trying to get the USSR back. You can't run from a fight all the time. Sometimes you're going to have to fight. And that's what the military knew. Putin is being aggressive. If we don't fight him right now, we're going to fight him in a situation that it might be. They felt like Ukraine was good enough for them to shut up shop and just go at Putin. They had to get at him. He was looking for the action. So you looking at Biden like this war happened and Biden won't stop it. You don't know the advice that President Biden is getting. You don't understand that. Just like you might not know the advice that President Trump is getting. You don't understand that. They're both getting advised. You say the same generals, whoever they choosing. And see, that's why I'm saying, Angelo, no one's told me this, but I'm able to put this together. That's how they would know that I would be a great advisor. Because if my advice for President Biden at that time was let us take half of his stuff, you don't understand how much weaker Russia is right now. And for you to have a lasting peace or everlasting peace after this conflict is over with Ukraine, Putin's not finna be fighting no more wars for a while. I promise you, he has literally lost more than half of his hardware. More than half of his tanks have been destroyed. More than half of his armored vehicles have been destroyed. His airplanes being destroyed. Hitting his oil fields, hitting his pockets. Russia's economy is in shambles. I'm saying President Trump need to go ahead and knock the feet from under. That's what I'm trying to tell you, though, Angelo. It's just I know you saying it's common sense, and it might be common sense, even if it's political common sense. But I'm saying I know people with a lot of common sense who couldn't give you that kind of advice because they just don't have that vision. It's more than common sense, Angelo. It's a vision. I got the vision. I understand the situation. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying I know it's time to end that war in Ukraine. The military might know something else that I don't know. If I don't have that information, then that's understandable. Like with Iran. Bombing Iran in a situation where Iran wasn't finna have a nuclear war, I wouldn't agree with that. But I just recently heard President Trump said they would have had that nuclear weapon in a month. In a month. See, that wasn't public information. But the military was privy to that information. So if I was privy to the information that Iran, of all nations, was going to have a nuclear weapon in a month, yeah, bomb. I wasn't privy to that information. Certain information I'm not privy to, but if I'm privy to the information, I promise you, and I will argue this and win against anybody, ain't nobody going to give you no better advice than Ghost. Period. That's why the stuff y'all hear me saying, y'all see it happening. You hear me say it and see it happen. In the war, President Trump, time to make the call. He made the call. All the time. Angelo know this. You know what I'm saying? To me, you could be a President Trump supporter, but that don't mean he gonna win just because you supporting him. But I'm saying you could be a political advisor. I'm an advisor. Will you call Stephen Miller a supporter? You see what I'm saying? It's like this, President T, if you gonna go get somebody to help you whatever you gonna do, it's like who you finna go hire? You know what I'm saying? You gonna get an advisor. Because I'm telling you, if President Trump was to hire me, number one, Angelo, if he hired me early enough, they wouldn't lose no midterms. I'm sure of it. I'm positive of it. They wouldn't lose no midterms, number one. Number two, if he hired me, he'll win more than a Nobel Peace Prize, Angelo. I'm a different kind of dude. I have him on Caitlin Collins or on Abby Phillips on CNN. That's what Ghost would do. Ghost would have President Trump on MSNBC. That's what Ghost would do. Ghost would have liberals and Democrats to start liking President Trump. That's what Ghost would do. Ghost different. Ghost wouldn't get up there like Stephen Miller. But see, listen, it's a certain wisdom or understanding you have to have, Angelo. It's more than common sense. You might not have that. You might not have that direction. But if you he would trust the direction I would give him. He would never expect me to be a yes man. Never would. Because it's who I am. But he know I will have the best advice. Yes, I'll be a Trump supporter. Yes, I'll defend him. Yes, I'll Republican Party. That would be my job. I would be getting paid to do that. But he know I will have the best advice, Angelo. It's more than just common sense, though. It's wisdom. It's vision. And some of that stuff comes from God. Some of it can't be taught. Some of it you can never get enough experience to get enough wisdom. Some of it just comes from God. And either God give it to you or he don't. Some people got it and some people don't. You know what I'm saying? Stephen Miller, he a good lawyer. You know? But I'm just saying, I'll be a different kind of dude. You know, he would understand. I'm a little kid, man. It's like we got children in the stream, man. Get these children in here. Hey, so hold up. Don't go nowhere. Angelo. Angelo, don't go nowhere. Lost in the sauce. Layoffs up. Grocery prices up. I see it plain as day, brother. Trump tanking the economy faster. Hey, look, Angelo, you hear what Lost in the Sauce saying? Look, Angelo, this is what I gotta say. He said grocery prices are up. That's not true. That's not factual. Let's look at. I'm gonna give you the information. Let's look it up right now. Lost in the South said that grocery prices was up, Angelo. That's anyway, if that was true, if grocery prices was up, whatever like that, I'm saying, like, what advice have I given President Trump on grocery prices? Because if I gave him advice on grocery prices, I don't think it would be, you know what I'm saying? There's things, look, this is what I'm saying. The way I would do things or advise him on a lot of things is completely different, Angelo, than the way he do it. I would have never cut health care subsidies. I would have never cut tenor. That'll help you lose an election. That's the reason why a lot of Republicans have lost before, because they did that. So some of the ways that he governed, I wouldn't do it. But that's the thing about an advisor. It's just advice. It's not like I'm litigating the case. I really am to him, but I'm going to just shoot the advice and he going to grab it or leave it. But if it's 10 things, 10 advisors up there, he going to be choosing what I say all the time because I'm going to be beating them other advisors. I know what I'm talking about. And that dude is not going to out-argue me. Put me and whoever in his cabinet in front of President Trump and let us have a disagreement on something and let us argue in front of President Trump and see who he going to pick to who he going to listen to. He going to listen to me 10 out of 10 times, at least 9.5. He didn't listen to me on Iran. He went a different way on Iran, but everything else I agree with. Now, like the way he get there, Angelo, isn't what I would do. I wouldn't do it the way he doing it on the economy, but it's irrelevant. All that matters is the results. So he say, Ghost, I'm going to do tariffs. I say, I wouldn't do tariffs. Scott B come over there and slap me, say, we finna do tariffs. Scott B got them now. But he come over there and say, but all you got to do, once you get to that point, you just say, hey, well, then if we do the tariffs this way, then it's just advice. But you can't, like, say, lost in the sauce. Hold up. Price of groceries. Let's see if they went up or not. Let's see. They might have. I don't know. Let's say how the national grocery prices have risen significant. Oh, that's not this year, though. As of June 2025, the average food price. Nah, I don't like them numbers. That don't look like that's real. Hold on a second. Let's look. National price of groceries. National. So okay, listen, you could be look. Well, you got to look at it from a 9.9 months since he been in office. If you look at the national price of groceries year over year, it's a 5.3% increase. That's inflation. That really, people don't realize this. President Trump gonna blame it on Joe Biden. That really ain't got much to do about Joe Biden. He just didn't know how to talk for himself. That's inflation. He might could pass a policy to affect it, but that's just inflation. America is getting money. Americans are pretty rich. That's just what happens. That's just the economy. That's just the way it rolls. He ain't trying to cut no interest rates and you getting all that money. The economy's strong. It ain't no reason for it. I'm saying if the economy is strong and they know people getting money, then you know the prices of stuff is going to rise, right? That's what happens. So I'm saying grocery prices has risen over 25% over the past 2 years. That was 2022. That was under President Biden. I'm saying the rising price of groceries in 2025. Let's look in the last 9 months. Hold up. Last 9 months. National price of groceries over the last 9 months. Let's look. Hold on. If you right, you right. Lost in the sauce. If you right, you right. But we finna look though. I don't think so though. Like they ain't trying to give me what I need. I need time. Something like this, I need to research it. But since you said that, I'm gonna do we gonna do a live stream about this. Here's what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for. I hope it does it month by month. The average price of food in the United States rose by 3.2% in 12 months, ending in August. So that's what I'm saying. That's disingenuous, really. You really, look, lost in the sauce, you really got to wait until he's been in there for a full year. Because you're using some of Joe Biden's numbers on that, too. That's not right. His lost in the sauce, would you agree that his policies are completely different than President Biden's? Right, wrong, or indifferent? Tariffs and everything. So if you're saying that grocery prices have risen 3.2% in 12 months, he ain't been in office in 12 months. Because if you go talk to him, he going to say, oh, that's Joe Biden. We all know he going to say that. So why even put that on him? Put the precise and exact and the right information on him or it's not going to stick. I'm telling you, that's how I do business. That's why I always be right. I'm not going to write the wrong answer to win an argument. I'm going to just take that little L, but when I come back, you see what I'm saying? It posts an annual increase of 2.9% in July. The Food at Home Index, CPI for August separately showed prices for the parallel year-over-year increases of 2.7 and 3.9%. Listen, if you really fight that argument, you're going to win the argument because he's been in office long enough. So if you're saying that food price, listen, this is what I'm going to say. A lot of the policies that VP Harris had, I agree with him on the economy. I agree with him. VP Harris didn't win. We talking 107 days tomorrow. When we talk 107 days, we're not talking 107 days like a campaign that VP Harris ran against President Trump, Angelo, or lost in the sauce. That's not what we talking. We talking about her book, 107 days, and her promoting that book and all the stuff she's got in that book, because she's got a lot in that book. About how she should have separated from Joe Biden. All this stuff going on during the campaign, Angelo, with VP Harris. That's what we're going to talk about. But what I'm saying is that even though I agree with her on how she would run the economy and some of these other things, I think President Trump would have been well served to have a couple Democrats in his cabinet. Democrats that like him, Democrats that vote for him. I guess that's why he can mess with Ghost, because Ghost is like an independent that's cool with the Democrats. So it's kind of like having somebody as close to a Democrat as possible around you to give you a varying opinion or to let you know what the other side is thinking. It's good to have someone like Ghost around, because I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't care. Ain't nobody around there could beat me. You really ain't finna hire. What you going to do to me? I'm going to just tell you what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's what he need. That's how you going to win. How else you going to win? That's how you win. You feel that, y'all? Y'all feel that? Look, you comparing the two, and that's fine. You could compare the two of them together, but I don't like. Why are you comparing? Look, Angelo, why are you comparing Joe Biden with President Trump? President Trump is the president, man. We don't care. We the business of America, Angelo. We don't care nothing about that. Like you. So look, they know I was cool. They know that other side. I was cool with that other side. They know I was cool with that other side. You know what I'm saying? I was cool on President Biden. You know what I'm saying? I still am. You know what I'm saying? I got President Biden. He had love for your boy, man. You feel me? Cool on VP Harris. You don't feel. What's that word that they always be using, man? Insecure. What Kanye say? So insecure. A beauty and it all falls down. You keep building it up. Hey, you can't be insecure, man, Angelo. That's how I feel like. It's like y'all be insecure. Don't be insecure, man. President Trump, the president. You ain't got to compare with Joe Biden's economy unless you're saying that you want to do numbers better than he is. But if you're trying to do numbers better than somebody's economy that's a Democrat, say Bill Clinton. Say his economy going to be better than Bill Clinton's. Say that, Angelo. You saying President Biden, why would you pick a Democrat's economy who you comparing yourself to whose economy? Look, he had the lowest unemployment rates in U.S. history, but President Biden, the policies, you look at inflation. Angelo, listen, just tell President Trump and them to hire me. That's all you need to do. That's your golden age. I'm going to put the balance on there for you. Because, Angelo, you need immigrants to grow the economy. You gonna need some immigrants to do them low-paying jobs. You just gotta know how to do it. You gotta stay on TV telling everybody you deporting everybody, and you keep some of them immigrants here to work them low-paying jobs. Y'all get Tom. I have Tom Homan and Kristi Noem on TV every single day saying we trying to catch every immigrant, and we'll be intentionally looking the other way at immigrants. I'm going to win. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. President Trump, you got to do A, B, C, and D. And if you do that, your numbers will be more than any other president that ever lived. You done listened to Ghost before? Trust me on this. Do A, B, C, and D. Go run it by the economic people. I don't need to run no numbers. I already did it. Go run it by the economic people and make sure it makes sense. Run it by, oh yeah, it made perfect sense. They going to see stuff that I don't do. A, B, C, and D in his economy will go through the roof tomorrow. Angelo, I could tell him A, B, C, and D. This isn't hypothetical. These are 4 things he could do, and his economy gonna hit the roof tomorrow. Ain't nobody on no podcast like no ghostwriter, bro. I promise you. They not like me. You might have served in the military like I did, but did you serve in the military and win a appeal in the U.S. Court of Appeals? You served in the military and did drug and alcohol, and you served in the military, won a U.S. Court of Appeals, and you did a little time in the pen. Ain't nobody, I seen every aspect of life. I've been in the hood with the hood rats. I've been in the whatchamacallit with the rich people. I've been everywhere. I could be on the elevator with none but rich white people and could communicate with them clearly. I could be on the elevator with none but gangster disciples and communicate. I could be on the elevator with none but preachers, none but politicians, any kind of person. I'm just well versed. I'm like the King Solomon. King Solomon said he planted vineyards, he did this, he did that, he did everything under the sun, and he saw that all was vanity and vexation of spirit. That's who Ghost is. Done everything under the sun. And that's what it is, Angelo. But you think I'm playing about that advice. There's 4 things President Trump need to do. And he do them 4 things, I can promise you, that economy gonna hit the roof. You just getting free advice. Imagine if you were paying me and I was taking all my time and energy and effort to telling you the right thing to do. And you paying me $500,000 a year. President Trump, bro, they'll hire President Trump. There ain't nobody in America would want him to lead the White House. Everybody would love him. Barack Obama would love him. If I was his top advisor. The people who know me from back whenever I was younger, 16 or whatever, doing music, bro, there was a girl named Britt, just not too long ago. I'll make everybody love you. Everybody. They might not like me, but they gonna love you. That's who I am. Go ask Danica. Ask her. Everybody love her. When I first met her, ain't nobody knew her. And I built that image, and everybody to this day in Biloxi, they all love Danica. Not everybody, but a lot of them do. That's Ghost. That's how I get down. Brittany Aldridge, she wasn't the first one. Y'all remember Mikey Dominguez? That's what Ghost do. If I had President Trump, everybody would love him. Everybody. The Democrats too. Barack Obama would love him. Some of the stuff he's saying do, he wouldn't be doing that. He would go, I'll just push him a little bit different. His policies and all that stuff would be the same. Y'all know how President Trump is. You can't tell him too much. But if he knows what you saying is the right move, he gonna listen to that. He a smart man, and he could pick stuff up like that. I noticed that about him. He's very acute or keen to certain little bitty things, Angelo, and he senses that. And I promise you, Angelo, if let Don Jr., one of them, bro, I'm telling you, y'all think the whole world love the dude. The whole world. Go, Angelo, I have him speaking to them. Not like how President Trump do it now. He'll still be on TV talking smack about Democrats. But behind the scenes, Hakeem Jeffries would be at the White House all the time. He'll be eating dinner with Kaylin Collins all the time, and Abby Phillip all the time. People who they don't even like each other. I'll bring them together, and I'll make them like each other. Ask about me when I was younger, boy. For real, man. That's who I am, man. Angelo, I appreciate that donation. He says, what would you advise Trump to do on the economy? I got 4 things for him to do on the economy. 4 things. The biggest problem we finna have, the reason they were predicting the recession is because on the ends and the beginnings of growth, sometimes, a lot of times, you can have problems in creating jobs. So this is what I think, Angelo. I think if President Trump would have stayed in the White House for 4 years, we saw his job numbers. They weren't looking like President Obama's. His policies didn't really get a chance. Well, you know, a Democrat going to argue against that and going to say at first it was positive because of President Obama. I heard President Obama say that. But what I'm saying is, though, Angelo, with the policies that he had, he's going to need a longer time before the midterms for them to do what he wants them to do, for them to, you see what I'm saying? It's the job growth that's the problem, Angelo. I'll tell you that. Job growth. That's the problem. That's what Ghost would do. I wouldn't address nothing else if I was advising him. I wouldn't say nothing about no tariffs. I wouldn't say nothing about nothing on the economy he doing, Angelo. And you know I voted for VP Harris, so you know I supported her. But so a lot of the way she thinks on how she would handle the economy, so you know I don't see eye to eye with President Trump and how he would handle the economy. Even though, that being said, I know 4 things right now he could do, Angelo. 4. I thought him out. I'm talking about sitting in the car, bro. I'm talking about for hours. Right now. And I guarantee you, a couple of the things, Angelo, like, look, so one of the things that he would do, I'm talking about 24 hours, boy. 24 hours that stock market hit the ceiling, boy. 24 hours, it's going to hit the ceiling. I promise you. Because look, on one of the 4 legs, Angelo, he made some phone calls. And he going to tell some people some things, Angelo, about the moves that he finna make. And when they hear, I know as soon as they ears hear it, boy, that stock market will hit the ceiling. Bro, I have Democrats loving them. I have Republicans loving them. I have everybody in the world loving them. Any politician I work for, that's what everybody gonna love you. Real talk. Big ghostwriter, baby. Real talk. Look, some of them, yes. Some of them, yes. Yes. Definitely. That's not one of the 4 legs, but he would. If I worked around a person that had his ear, they would understand my thinking behind it. But I wouldn't say. Look, he has been mad successful with the tariffs, more successful than you think. Some of you guys are complaining about the tariffs. We're gonna do a stream on this in short order, and the farmers have been affected drastically. The farmers have been hurt drastically. President Trump knows this. I'm not talking down on him. He finna give him some money again. President Trump finna use some of that tariff money to give a stimulus to the farmers. What I'm saying is, Regan, the farmers wouldn't be the only person, and they're not going to be the only people getting stimulus. Regan, you getting a stimulus too. And Angelo, you getting a stimulus too. Y'all don't know it yet, but I know it. That's why I'm Ghost, and that's why I'm telling y'all. Y'all getting stimuluses too off that tariff money. Here's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, though, is, and President Trump might be aware of this, but what somebody Regan said was something. What I would stop some of the tariffs. Just you say that with India. That about India is geopolitical. I wouldn't stop, like, the tariffs that he's got on the other rest of the world. I really wouldn't fool with that. I would only look for American business workers who are affected. So I would go to whatever department that was to get the information. I would want to know the specific businesses in America and what industries that were affected by the tariffs. He probably had already done this. So he knows who's hurting off of his policies. That's easy. That's an easy fix. He got trillions off the tariffs. Trillions. Money that they didn't count. Extra money. It's an easy fix. Band-aids. Just throwing Band-aids. You got a Bobo. He put a Band-aid on that Bobo, you're going to be like Big Ghost. I mean, shoot, make you start rocking with him. But that's just the tariff talk. That ain't the economy. What the 4 legs stew. I got a 4 from what he's got now. It's not like I got an economic plan. Oh, y'all got, even though they're going to hear me out. They're going to hear me out. But it's not like I got an economic plan. No. That's not what I look at a chessboard. Look, if that might be, Angelo, look, I might not, as far as like creating, Like, you'll go to economists or you'll go to someone in a think tank and they'll give you a 10-point economic plan, a 12-point economic plan. I'm saying I'm not doing that. I'm not that kind of advisor. That's why I'm good at litigating, because in a litigation, there's facts already established. So I look at the picture like an investigator. I go inside a room, Sherlock Holmes, and I could look at the clues and I could paint that picture. It's the same thing in litigation. I could take the story and paint a picture. That's the thing. So with President Trump, with what he's done in his first 9 months, I could take what he has done and I got a 4-leg picture for you, President Trump, that America gonna win more than it's ever won before. The reason I'm scared to tell you, though, is because I'm scared that every Democrat in America is gonna hate me. Tell you for free. The reason why I'm scared to tell you for free, because I know every Democrat in America gonna hate me after this one, boy. Because I watch YouTube, I watch the podcasters. Ain't none of them really do a podcast like mine where I'm advising the president. You see what I'm saying? Our segment, instead of News Hour with Ghostwriter, it should be calling advising the president. That's the segments that I be doing. I be throwing advice. I don't see nobody, Charlie Kirk, and like a lot of these people like Cash and my boy BP, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these people he got from TV. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to go work on TV to be I ain't trying to go that way. I do litigation right now. I study political science. So I'm trying to stay in my lane. That's my lane, litigation and political science. He ain't getting $2 trillion a day, but he'll have $2 trillion in a year on tariffs. He getting millions a day, if not billions a day, off tariff revenue. That money going into the U.S. Treasury. Why would you want to stop America from getting all that money? And you got a $38 trillion debt. President Trump's logic is you just got to pay more for stuff. This is how we going to get out of our deficit. You got to pay more. You got to pay higher prices. How much is $38 trillion divided by 300 and some million people? That's like 100,000 a head. So if you got 4 kids, you owe $500,000 on the no. If it's your wife and your 2 kids, you owe $500,000 on the national debt. How you gonna get that $500,000? You don't got $500,000 to put on the national debt. You don't even feel like you owe that money. You feel like so that's what I'm saying. America still has a $38 trillion debt problem. So if President Trump get $2 trillion, $1 trillion, $4 trillion, however much it's helping the problem. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not against the tariffs, because it's necessary. You got to have the money. You in debt. You need the money. You got to increase revenue. So that's the way he decided to do it. If I was with him, he'd be doing more. America owns a third of the land in this country. I'm talking about some of the most beautiful land in the world. Some of the most beautiful real estate in the world. They got fences out here in Connecticut around their parks. They charge people to get in parks, not just Connecticut. All states do that all over America. They raise millions by doing that. People like Ghostwriter love outdoors and wildlife. They make millions off me. Shoot. President Trump know real estate too, so when Ghost get to talking, he gonna know what Ghost is saying is right. That boy right. It's way more than common sense, bro. It's a certain level of intelligence. Bro, probably about a year or 2 ago, they used to say I use B words. I swear. I would have people saying, Angelo and Regan, I would have people say, what's that mean? What's that mean? I swear they said I use B words. So you know what I told myself? I said I'm going to stop being like that. I dumb myself down. I'm just a regular dummy like everybody else now. But I promise you the level of intelligence is much more than just common sense. It's much more than just common sense, I promise you. But like, if you want to just rely on the common sense or call it common sense, you could call it what you want to. But I'm just saying, Well, I be seeing people, their level of thought, they don't think as much as I do. They don't think as deep as I do. They can't think like I think. And they trying to tell me to change my mentality so I could be like you. Listen, but Regan, you got a, baby, listen what I'm saying. You got a $38 trillion debt though, sweetheart. You got a $38 trillion debt. So how you get out the debt? If you don't do it this way and say that the system collapsed and they come looking at us to, something crazy, but I'm saying that debt does affect you. You paying America. It affects how we Social Security, teachers, police. It affects everything to do with the government. A president might feel like President Trump said he wants to help the people who don't have much. He said he gonna do that. Listen to Ghost. Ghost like, President Trump be like, how this man be knowing all this stuff I be saying? He said he gonna help the poor. He gonna use the tariff money to do it. He said it's gonna take a second. He ain't gonna do it tomorrow. He said, chill out, he coming. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a press him though. I'm a push him to help the poor. Lord. A cutoff too last year for $22, Regan. I feel you, fam. Listen, the thing is, the Brazil tariffs. The thing about Brazil though is Brazil, they be skinning and grinning with China and Russia too much. So that's strategic. You said the Brazil tariffs are unneeded. What I would say are the tariffs on India is unneeded because India is a strategic partner. We need India. If India and Pakistan got into it, I'm gonna have to take India's side. I'm sorry. I mean, we need India. India is that important. We absolutely need India as an ally, as America. Vital ally. So the tariffs on a nation, I wouldn't have put tariffs on Canada in them, but they ran the numbers, so they did it how they did it. That's spilled milk. What I'm saying is, though, is the tariffs on certain nations, and I'll say India publicly because I think it's that important. You know what I'm saying? Some information I'll say publicly if it's that important. Some stuff I just keep to myself. You got to pay for that. But as far as India, I think it's that you gonna winning any kind of battle in the world, whether it's money wise or it's where you got opponents, you want India on your side. Now that kind of is common sense. You need India. You need India on your side. You need them. Not just to be friends. I'm saying I will pull them away from China. Listen, the influence President Trump could have on India. Who listening right now? Which one of y'all listening? The influence that President Trump could have on India, he just tell India he'll make them China. We'll build all our stuff in your country. We'll start what we were doing with China, made in China. It'll say made in India. This is what I need you to do, India. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. That's how I would approach them. President Trump got a lot of leverage, a lot of pull to get them people to do almost anything he wants them to do. You just got to know the moves. You got to know the right moves, and you can't be arrogant because you can't win if you're arrogant unless you know what you're doing. Jerry Rice, he was a football player, one of the greatest receivers ever played the game, played for the 49ers and the Raiders. He was a very humble man, but he could be arrogant. Michael Jordan could be arrogant. LeBron James could be arrogant. Donald Trump, he could be arrogant too. But I'm saying in certain moves, though, you just make certain moves the way you make them. And it's just certain moves he need to make to get up there where he finna go. where he trying to go to get there quicker. You said tad bigger than China, but together the two of them are almost 3 billion people. Okay? Imagine that. Imagine you having, that's half the world in two nations, two governments, two men, two leaders, half the world's population. That's what you want to face? You couldn't make enough bullets to fight them together if they joined their armies together. You talking about you coming against 30 million people. At least that they could put at them two nations together could send 30 million people at you. Young soldiers with guns. So you could one of yours could kill 10 of theirs. Well, you only got 1 million. You're gonna have to do that 3 times. 30 versus 1. It don't matter how good your weapons are, you ain't gonna put yourself in no position like that. America not finna go to war with China, and America definitely not finna go to war with India. That's not what I'm talking about. India is a geopolitical. How can you counter China? You need an ally to do this. America, you can make as many American weapons as you want to. How you gonna sell them if nobody gonna buy them? You get that? You can make as many Boeing planes if you don't have no customers. You need customers. You understand that? That's how you make money. So you going to war with China for geopolitical reasons. They got all the customers. Well, India's market, we saw China's market. We saw China's market and said we can make a lot of money off China. And we were greedy and we created a monster. What I'm saying is from the mistakes that you made from creating that monster with China, go create it in India without making the mistakes. And that's how you going to help knock China down the rest of the way. I'm just giving y'all bland stuff. I could break it down for you. You know I'm an arguer. I could give you a whole. I could break all the way down. I'm talking about PowerPoint presentation, boy. With with an argument under. I write lawsuits. I know what I'm talking about. And anybody you got in your administration want to argue me on this point, let's do it. Let's argue the point in front of President Trump and let's see whose side he gonna be. Not every time, but the majority of the time he gonna go with what I'm saying because I be knowing what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I just be knowing. That stuff, it ain't all just common sense or all some of that stuff. God give you some of that stuff, bro. It just be coming from, I be knowing stuff, I don't even know how I know it. Sometimes I don't even know how I learned it, but I know it and I know it to be fact. And I say it and it come out. It be exactly how I say it, 9 out of 10 times. Politics and the law, I'm not like that with everything, but politics and the law, bro, I'm rarely wrong. My boy said I don't know anything. I know. You said I'm his supporter, bro. Like y'all always say that I'm a truth supporter. I support the truth. That's what I support. Beefy Hayes, I support the truth. I support the truth, Beefy Hayes. Whatever the truth is, I'm going to support it. What's up, Philip? Y'all, that's my time, man. I really appreciate y'all coming in here, kicking it with me. Angelo, I appreciate you, baby. I appreciate you coming in here and you donating and everything like that. Man, bro, I got to get up out of here, man. Look, I'll tell y'all this, bro. Your boy Big Ghostwriter ready. So that's Republican, that's independent, or that's Democrat. Whether you work for the DNC or the RNC, I'm saying if you need somebody who's going to help you win, who gonna give you the right advice and never write the wrong answers on the chalkboard and don't have no political aspirations of his own, zero. I never run for no political office. If you need a champion, if you need a fighter, that could go for CNN too. If y'all need a champion, if y'all need a fighter, that's what that is. Big Ghostwriter, man. You know what I'm saying, man? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, anytime I get in a situation bigger than me, man, I lay it at the feet of Jesus. I go in the room, I'm going to pray. I'm going to tell God my problem. I'm going to get up. I'm going to walk away like ain't nothing wrong. That's where my wisdom or my common sense is coming from. It's coming from God. That's what I believe. Some people say experience, but some people got more experience with me in different things, and they don't see stuff like I see it. I be seeing stuff people don't, they can't, it ain't no way they'll see it in a million years, and I'll be looking dead at it. A lot of people like that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about them, I'm talking about me, though, man. I'm a Christian, bro. I'm thankful to God for every day thing. I wake up every day thanking God. Every day. I wake up thanking my Creator. It's good. Come before the Lord in thanksgiving. Give our praise to the Most High. I tell God, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, man. I love every last one of y'all. We're going to be live tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. I think I forgot. Oh, yeah, 107 days. VP Harris in 107 days, man. Regan, my boy Angelo, and even Big President T. I'm saying if Joe Rogan got on his podcast and he talked about VP Harris or a Democrat, I'm saying how you could get mad at that. That's what he does. You know what I'm saying? So tomorrow, that's what we gonna do. We talking VP Harris and we talking 107 days. That's what that is. Bro, I could cut the channel off. It's not, how's it gonna hurt me what would I lose if I stopped coming on this podcast or this live stream and giving information? What would I lose? A few $100 or maybe a few thousand a year? What would I lose? But if you know what I know, then you know. What would you lose if I stopped coming on here? Think about it. Think about how many situations you took that and it worked out for you. And that stuff I'm telling you, bro, you could get charged hundreds of thousands for that and you getting that out the air. Oh, call Israel right now and tell them to end the war. And you go over there and they treating you like a whole king. Like you the second coming of somebody important. Israel's and the Muslims, all of them are. Oh, go ahead and stop that tariff right, and you do that and the economy hit the roof. What would I lose if I stopped doing it? A few $100? That's what I'm saying, bro. Like I'm not in a losing spot. I'm not a politician. I'll never be a politician. I do love my nation, but it's a bunch of people who love their nation who don't provide their talents for free. It's a bunch of people who love you got a whole cabinet of people up there with you who love their nation, who ain't providing their talents for free. So that's what I'm saying. You got to always remember that I'm not going to lose nothing. I still have the same knowledge. I still know, oh, y'all doing all this stuff and they doing all that wrong. And I'll just be walking around every day to myself, not sharing it with nobody. That's what I'm saying. What am I going to lose? You got to think about that. So understand that. And then what the other side. So when you understand that, we talking about VP Harris tomorrow, 107 days. Y'all, I love y'all, man. I appreciate that, man. That's my time, bro. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. Shout out to President Trump. He over there right now in the Middle East for brokering that peace deal. Be President T, when you come back, Ukraine is issue number one. I love y'all, man. God love y'all. Y'all be safe, especially out here on the Upper East Coast, man. It's raining so hard. It's so cold and it's so raining and it's so windy. So y'all be safe traveling, man. I'll see y'all next time, man. I'm out.